This week on Socratic Cinema. Oh, I mean, the first one was fine. The first one was whatever. Haha, gay, right? Like, I laughed, I got it like everyone else.
Can someone please cut that as a clip?
Yeah.
Gay.
But, and then I see him in the chef hat.
Linguini doesn't have a mustache, James.
Please.
This movie has a different aim.
Oh.
But aim your guns, your airplane guns. That was a good pun, I thought. Hey, give me a beat, Kasey.
Oh.
Give me a beat.
Why not me? Feel left out.
Rachel, Lisa, Peter DeLisio, Samuel, Jeanette, Heather, and Michael Clark, Mariah, Roger, Izzy, Christopher, Heatherly, Salvador Reyes, SkullHammerSmash. These are the patrons.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much. That was the. We're gonna make that more of a recurring thing.
No,
the patron rap. Someday when we have like 50 patrons, and we're like just going for like 7 minutes. It's like the Pokey rap. It's a cipher.
You didn't even rhyme them. You didn't even say their names to the beat.
I did. Well, it's hard with the delay, but I did my best. I think I did a pretty good job. But
no.
Thank you to our patrons for supporting and funding this show. This episode is sponsored by patreon.com/Socratic Cinema. Thank you to viewers like you for bringing you all to, ready, drum roll, the season premiere of season 6 of the Socratic Cinema podcast. Oh my gosh, they're back.
We're back.
Woo. That's crazy. I haven't seen you guys in like 2 weeks since the season 5 finale. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But, we've matured a lot over the last 2 years. We have a snazzy new logo. Not at all. I want to see no Looney Tunes comments. I want to see.
I swear to God, if I get one more Looney Tunes comment, I'm going to hit someone in the head with a toy hammer.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm going to giggity run. I'm going to make all sorts of Looney Tunes sound effects. It's season 6, and we're here to serve you another season of content. I think we're all very pumped up, ready for the summer, to try something a little fresh, a little fun, a little cute for the summertime. Starting that off, what better movie? Hey, what's the best movie to start off season 6 of Socratic Cinema? Is it Jurassic World Dominion?
No,
I don't think so.
Chris
Conjuring?
Pratt, old Conjuring. No,
maybe.
It's actually we had some fan mail saying don't do it from one Dames DeLisio, so that one's out. Oh, by the way, my name is James DeLisio.
Dame? There's a Dame in the DeLisio family.
Yeah.
Dame Judi Dench.
Is it Lightyear? Is Lightyear the movie?
No.
No, cringe.
No, no.
Cringe.
They sort of lost me with the Starman epic trailer remix, so I was out there. Is it Top Gun Maverick? Ooh, that's bold.
Oh.
That's big. That's a big one.
Sophisticated, bold yet yielding.
Yeah, no. Spectacle with a nice counterbalance of military propaganda. I think this is really a great pick for us.
Guess what? It's working.
But in case you couldn't tell, this week we're here talking about the movie everyone's talking about, Top Gun Maverick. My name is James DeLisio.
I'm
we
Kasey
never said it.
Oh,
and I'm Charlie Heatherly.
But here we are. I'm gonna pass it over. Well, first here's my introductory question for you two. Have you seen Top Gun 1 before seeing this, or did you go in blind? And that's the opening question for today. Kasey?
And my response is, do you know who my father is?
He's on the. We just rapped his name earlier.
Yeah. And if you know my father, then the answer is clearly a yes. I watched Top Gun.
The man who brought us Face Off.
Yeah, the man who brought us Face Off also sat us down as a family and had us watch Top Gun.
And how do you feel about the original Top Gun?
Oh, I really like the original Top Gun. I feel like it was pretty interesting. Like I'm not necessarily like a ooh, big planes. But it was
Not a plane girl, Kasey. Not a plane girl. No.
You're either a plane girl or a train boy.
I don't know. I feel like experiencing Top Gun, the first one, especially with my dad, who's had a lot of like nostalgia. Like I felt like I was living vicariously through him as he's like talking about all the planes, because our great grandpa actually worked on one of the planes that was in the movie, but I can't remember which one. But he would like build planes and stuff like that.
Oh, dang, that's really cool.
Ow.
So so I'm like, oh yes, love it. So when I saw that Maverick was coming out, like Dad was talking about it. He's like, Maverick's coming out. I'm like, yes, we're gonna go see it. And overall, just watching Top Gun, the first one, was it at times it was a bit corny, but you know, I can't blame them. I knew what I was signing up for. Tom Cruise, I knew it. I knew it right away. Definitely propaganda, and the way they studied something. They upped their game. Because coming out of Maverick, I nearly emailed the local recruiter. I'm like, I'm 5'2", but put me in, coach. Put me in. But overall, I loved Top Gun, the original one, and I did not go in blind. Yeah.
And did you love Top Gun Maverick? Just a yes or no, an out of 10?
Yes, I did, and I would give it a 8.5 out of 10.
An 8.5. That's a very classic
Wow.
Kasey.
Yeah, it's pulling me out of my hater era.
Pulling out of her hater era. We had a little bit of jet wash she was stuck in. Charlie, have you seen Top Gun 1, Charlie?
I have seen Top Gun 1, but I only saw it when I was like 10-ish, because my dad is also somebody who will only show me awesome movies when I'm way too young to appreciate them. So I know the basic plot beats of the first movie, but know absolutely none of the specifics. So I was sort of going into the new one blind. I was like, I know Tom Cruise is in this movie, and that's sort of all I really need to know. There's a dude named Iceman and Goose and Maverick and stuff like that. But I was really glad that we were doing Top Gun during, what month is it, June? Because from what I remember, the first one is like the gayest movie of all time with that beach volleyball scene. So, So I was like, this is a perfect pick for this month. But yeah, I only went in partially blind, but I got my socks blown the heck off. That's right, PG season this year. And it was like genuinely a thrilling experience, and it made me remember that movies can be fun again, and they don't have to be just superhero movies I force myself to like, or super dramatic things that I'm like, yes, no, that was contemplative. And I just had... Like literally, I felt like I was on adrenaline afterwards, and I had like my step felt lighter. I felt like lightning in my veins. Like I was genuinely, I was elated, honestly, to see it. And if I had to rate it on a scale of 10 out of 10, I'd give it a 10. But if I had to rate it on the better scale, which is flick to Kino, I'd give it a Kino. So
interesting. That's interesting.
That's an interesting take.
Yeah, I wouldn't like. For me, this is the best way that I can put. So I hadn't seen the original Top Gun, but I knew I needed to see Maverick because everyone was talking about it. So I watched the original the night before I was going to go see Maverick, and to be honest, I didn't really like the original that much. I mean, I was like entertained. I was like, this is fun, but I don't know. Tom Cruise is really scary.
No, he's not. Come on.
No, I have a really like I really feel like
Tom Cruise.
I feel really alarmed by Tom Cruise. Like I really don't. I don't like him.
Why is he scary?
James wakes up in the middle of the night with
he's like
Tom Cruise from The Outsiders. His messed up teeth as a sleep paralysis demon.
It's like, this is not unpopular. A lot of people don't like Tom Cruise. He's off-putting. He feels like He feels like an artificial, like a lizard man.
Look, he was the basis for Patrick Bateman.
That's
in
where I
American
was
Psycho.
going. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That
He's
is
so scary. And so like I don't know. I mean, the first one was fine. The first one was whatever. Haha, yay, right? Like I laughed, I got it like everyone else. I got it like everyone else.
Can someone please cut that as a clip?
Yeah.
Gay.
But and then so I was like, okay, that was like a warm 6. And then I went into Maverick.
What?
And then I went into Maverick and I did a backflip I stood up and I went to the front and I did a little flip during the last 30 minutes. Because Maverick, the best way I can put it is that it's a movie with a capital M. Like it is exactly what an action blockbuster should be. Like the words good and action blockbuster scarcely go together. It's usually just action blockbuster and you sort of infer that it was not great.
God, your letterboxd must be really something.
Right.
What do you mean? No, but this is a really great action movie. I think this vindicated me because it's like, no, I don't hate action. I hate bad action. And I really like Top Gun Maverick. So all the haters can leave me alone and get off my porch because I love Top Gun Maverick. I would say it's like bordering a 9, but probably like a high 8.5. It's like it's a 9, I would say. I saw it twice. I saw it again last night. I will say there was less of the wow factor the second time, but that first viewing, oh my, wow. What is there to say? I think it basically took everything the first movie did right and then did it a million times better. Like there's nothing that I think the first movie did better than this one. Totally candid. It's like, if this movie didn't hinge on the first one and someone was like, oh, I want to watch Top Gun, I'd be like, just watch Maverick. Like it's just the better version. It's the better way to experience Top Gun. And that's beautiful. It really brought a tear to my eye.
I don't even think it hinges on the first one. It's such a good standalone film.
I would disagree.
What part of it?
I mean, the whole relationship. Well, Penny. Yeah. Okay, here's the funny thing.
Barely in the first movie.
Yeah, Penny's not in the first movie.
No, she's not in the first movie.
Penny's referenced in one line in the first movie. There's a line of dialogue where they're like, "Oh, what about your fling with Penny, the Colonel's daughter, or whatever?"
Yep.
And that's her entire, which is so interesting to me. It's like the Disney Plus thing where they'll take one line from a Star Wars movie and be like, this is a new series.
This is a new series. And you know what? There's actually the original love interest in the first Top Gun said that they didn't ask her back because she looks her age.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my, God.
And Val Kilmer doesn't? I'm sorry, that was maybe a little bit far. But
he has James.
I liked it.
God.
No, it was nice to see him in this movie. My brain is moving too fast. I was trying to be nicer this season and it's off to a terrible start. No, I was gonna say, I thought it was interesting that the love interest was just completely gone. That was really kind of weird, and I wish they'd at least like addressed it in the script, like something. It's like she never existed. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I will say, like, I appreciated this movie more having seen the first one. Like, I feel like I wouldn't have had as great of an experience. Yeah, they give you flashbacks for most of the important callbacks, but it's nicer. I feel like it's not the same as actually having experienced it, right? Like, especially back to back, like I saw them, it was really great seeing like how all the threads from the first one kind of organically weaved in. Like none of the callbacks felt artificial or forced. It all felt very, it felt respectful of the first one, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only thing that I was like about was when they had Rooster playing the piano. Like that was just, I mean, I liked it. No, I liked it. Okay. I just felt I just felt that it was like a bit too on the nose. Like, again, I feel like it's like, okay, if you had seen the first one, then you would immediately know who this person is. You've already established that he's Goose's son. You already established that there's like kind of a bit of a strained relationship there. Like, and you can, I think my main problem is that you can keep Rooster playing the piano, but then you don't have to have the cuts in between going between Rooster and Goose. We know.
Yeah,
Those were very
I
helpful for
agree.
me because I completely forgot that Goose played Great Balls of Fire in that bar. So it was great. Because to me, this was all new information, and I was like, "Oh my god, he's playing the piano just like his papa. This is so sweet. This is so fun." So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why I think that this movie totally works as a standalone because it gives you all of the necessary information for the really cool flashbacks. And if you decide to watch the first one and then the second one, it only enhances your experience. But this movie, you shouldn't go into it thinking, oh God, I haven't seen the original Top Gun. I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to understand it. This
Oh,
works.
yeah.
This movie absolutely
Mhm.
works on its own. The original Top Gun, viewing it will only give you more context and will only make you appreciate it more.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that. That's a
yeah,
good point.
I
I think
agree,
that's a
I
good way
agree.
of putting it. Because I know a lot of people who haven't seen the first one, and you're right. Like it does give you enough pieces, but I would still like it definitely gives you enough to get it. But I would still like say that the best, yeah, that's always weird to me. Like the best way to watch this is to, people with One Piece are like, you have to watch the 300 first episodes before you really understand.
And
it's
I
like,
won't.
yeah, and I'm not going to do that. But I do think like this, yeah, you're right. It's only benefited by seeing the first one. So I mean, I'd say like if you have time, watch the first one. And maybe you're like me and you won't really like the first one, and that'll only make the second one that much better, right? It's set the bar low so it can be blasted out of the water by Maverick.
James, hater of fun, DeLisio strikes again.
How many times do I have to say I loved Maverick for you guys to leave me alone? It was great.
James, do you like the original Pirates of the Caribbean? I swear this
Yeah.
is connected. Yeah? Do you
Yeah,
know
I
why
do.
you do?
Why?
Because of Jerry Bruckheimer, my favorite Hollywood producer.
Did he
Work.
produce Top Gun
Lay
Maverick
it
as
on
well?
him.
Jerry Bruckheimer is the one that produced Top Gun. He produced Bad Boys, produced
Mhm.
produced Pirates. He's done a lot of different stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And he loves fun. Now, I am hinging my take on Jerry Bruckheimer, not knowing if he's done any cancelable things. So if he has, boo, Jerry Bruckheimer. There's my safety take. But for the take where I know all of the information that he's just made movies that I like, yay, Jerry Bruckheimer. This guy makes fun things and knows how to make me go like, or just be on the edge of my seat every single time I go and watch a movie. So, yeah, James, it's because he didn't produce the original Top Gun. He didn't produce the original Top Gun, so you don't like it as much.
Okay,
At least
so
I don't think so.
your point is that Jerry Bruckheimer is a good producer? If so, sure. I loved the first. Yeah, the first Pirates was really fun. I saw that for
He
the
also
first
did
time.
produce the original Top Gun, so maybe you just hate fun. That's my new take.
Well, maybe I think the moral of the story here is there
James
is
can't
not
win.
a single variable here to explain what movies I like and dislike, which is sort of a given, I feel like. But, speak your truth. I don't know. I'm trying to think about what the differences were. I will say one immediate thing, I think technically Maverick, like the technical aspects of Maverick are much better executed than the first one. It's
Mm.
just the action is clearer, it's easier to follow. I felt a lot of times in Top Gun 1 that like I couldn't really tell planes are flying and action's happening, but I wasn't really able to follow like the intricacies of it that they wanted me to. Like a lot of the details of like what specifically is happening aside from just flying planes was sort of lost on me. But Top Gun Maverick, everything felt very crystal clear. I thought the editing was a lot better. Like it just felt visually very easy to follow. I think the audio was a lot better. Like you could actually hear what they were saying in their little intercoms, which was really great. And so I just think this movie has a lot of technical merits that I really appreciated. I think especially the editing and the cinematography were both top notch, Top Gun,
Top
top
tier
fun.
for top.
Top tier for Top Gun.
Love it.
I also like that they did the credits again. Like I like that they did the opening credits and the opening montage like the same with the very golden hour yellow footage of the planes on the aircraft carrier. I thought that was a really nice callback.
Mhm.
Yes, I agree.
My friend compared the way that Top Gun Maverick was made to the way that The Force Awakens was made, in that they are both semi-reboots of their respective franchises that are constantly trying to call back the greatest hits from that original movie. And I would argue that Top Gun Maverick probably does a much better job because of the stuff that it does there, where at the start of the movie, you get the classic Danger Zone song playing. You get the classic helicarrier scene. Or not the helicarrier scene. God, Marvel's rotting my brain.
Iron Man
oh my God.
Cameo.
Jesus Christ. Nick Fury steps onto the stage.
The multiverse.
The multiverse of madness.
Aircraft carrier. Oh my God. So you get all this classic stuff, but then the movie evolves and does its own stuff and uses modern technology to its advantage. Like Tom Cruise's smile has never been captured more crystal clear. Really was impressed with that. But yeah, like it is a reboot done right because of those very like obvious callbacks, and then all the ways that it evolves on that throughout the course of the film.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of stuff it's like somewhere between a sequel and a reboot. It's I like that. I like that a lot, where it's like
that sweet spot.
The old continuity still exists, but we're sort of passing the torch and telling a new story. Like I guess Top Gun Maverick is kind of like just a sequel, but it's also a little bit of a soft reboot. Like I could see more Top Gun media coming out later. I sort of feel like this tied the bow really nicely, and I'm not necessarily like itching for Top Gun 3, but I think
they're gonna make it.
It's gonna happen, and maybe not. Maybe with Miles Teller. Like I wouldn't mind another plane movie with Miles Teller as the lead. Like that might be cool.
I don't know. I don't think that Miles Teller has the same charisma as Tom Cruise, nor the Death Wish. Like, I think that Top Gun is so made by Tom Cruise's refusal to stay alive that he constantly is pushing the boundaries, learns to fly these planes, actually goes up there himself. Like, Miles Teller, I think, had several panic attacks flying in the plane with Tom Cruise because of how scared he was.
He had an allergic reaction because too much jet fuel got in his bloodstream during the filming of this movie. Yeah, that's a fact.
Wow, that is insane.
He had jet fuel in his bloodstream?
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're in the plane,
that's some method acting, man. He became a plane for the role. Oh my God.
Breathing in all the fumes and stuff. I guess it gets in your blood. Yeah.
I
see your point, but I think Miles Teller was really good in the role that he was in. Like, I think he played Rooster very well. Miles Teller,
he was great as Rooster.
He's a great actor. I always forget like how good he is.
You know what?
What?
This is the one because y'all know I do not like Miles Teller, right?
Wait, what?
What? Y'all?
I thought you just didn't like Whiplash.
No, I don't like him. Okay.
Why?
And here's the reason. Because in every single movie, and I just recounted this to my mom that I've seen him in, he's played some snivelly little like weasel. Like Spectacular Now, he was a snivelly weasel. The Divergent series, he was a snivelly weasel. Whiplash, he was not much of a snivelly weasel, but
Eat your words, Kasey.
Oh yeah.
You know, but the majority of the movies that I've seen him in, he was a snivelly weasel. This movie made me like him a little bit.
Oh, okay. There's a happy ending.
There is a happy ending.
All right. Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I can do this.
I don't think I've ever seen his snivelly weasel side. I mean, I've only seen him in this, Whiplash, and Fan Four Stick. So it's
you didn't think he was snivelly in Fantastic Four?
Fan Four Stick?
He was very snivelly in Fan Four Stick.
Yeah, thank you.
Was he? I'm sorry, I haven't seen it since I was about.
He's great in The Offer, though. Do you guys know about The Offer?
I've heard of it.
Oh, that's something that I need to watch. Yes, I've heard of it.
It's about the making of The Godfather.
The Godfather.
Oh, you know who Miles Teller would be great as?
Who?
Linguini from Ratatouille.
No, awful
yes,
take.
No. He'd be perfect.
Bad.
He's a perfect.
No.
Yes.
What?
Come
He's
on.
not that snivelly. You guys are crazy. No,
I wasn't even thinking about the snivelly. I just think he like looks the part, could act. I think
he doesn't.
Linguini. Okay.
He's so skinny. He looks like Linguini. Miles Teller is built. He's an action star.
He can lose weight. You think actors have this crazy ability to change their appearance for the role they're in?
He's not going to go Christian Bale on you.
I think there's just more or better people that could be Linguini.
Well, who would you cast?
Well, I
Linguini.
can't think of
Timothy
it off
Chalamet
the
is the
top of
better
my
first
head.
option.
No, he's not. You put him in any role. Timothy Chalamet would be a terrible Linguini.
Oh, but Miles Teller would be great.
Yes,
For what reason?
Timothy Chalamet would be an awful Linguini. He's a great actor, but he's not Linguini.
But Miles Teller screams Linguini energy for no reason.
I can-
None of the
Speaking
roles
of-
you have seen him in would make him Linguini. I'm
Kasey,
sorry.
don't try and segue us out of this. I can see
Oh
it
my
in my
God.
mind's eye. He's there. I see him in the chef hat.
Linguini doesn't have a mustache, James.
Please.
Miles Teller doesn't. This is like the only movie I've seen him have a mustache in.
Contractually obligated now in every
needs
film
to-
to
yeah.
appear with a mustache.
Yeah.
I think you
Yeah.
guys are just so mad that I am so genius.
Okay.
You want to know? Here,
You can feel that way.
all right. I'll bring us into something real. All right.
I was
So-
gonna bring us into something else.
Guys, Idris Elba should be the rat from Ratatouille. He should be
Okay.
Remy. It's the perfect casting.
Kasey, what were you
On
going to say?
Juneteenth.
On
Yeah.
Juneteenth, Charlie? Really? On Juneteenth? You're
I'm
bringing
making
this
fun of
energy?
I was
James.
gonna
I'm making fun of
say-
James for his ridiculous takes.
I think you're making fun of Idris Elba.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
let him hear that.
I don't think he has the range to play Remy. I'll say it.
The range.
Okay, Kasey, get us out of here. What were you going to say, Kasey?
Okay, I was gonna say that something else that I noticed, speaking of people that act or are acting like someone, I really thought that Hangman's performance was very, very cut and dry. Like he was trying to be Iceman the entire time. Did
He wa-
anyone
yeah.
else? Yeah, like even the way that he did it, that lip thing,
Oh,
thing,
his little smile. His
little smile.
Yeah.
was if he had the Bill Skarsgård teeth,
Oh,
that's the it smile.
that's
It
what
is
it looks
literally
like.
the it smile,
It
and
is.
I could not get over it.
Yeah, I
Um,
didn't mind Hangman as like I thought he was a good. He's the kind of like smirk, like
Yeah, he's
jerky.
the smug.
Yeah,
I love Hangman.
I
Yeah,
liked him.
they were
in it,
trying
yeah.
to they were trying to do the half of how Maverick and Iceman had their little rivalry going on. They're trying to like half-assedly do that with, but it's not like half-assedly. They just didn't put enough time for it, you know? But they're like, this is like looking at it, you're like, okay, Rooster, Hangman, that's obviously Maverick and Iceman.
Yeah, but I like how it's sort of like I appreciate it. I thought they had a good dynamic. I really liked Rooster and Hangman's little thing. I don't feel like it was underdeveloped, but it clearly was not
Okay.
like the crux of the movie the way Maverick and Iceman was.
Yes.
I
It's
think,
poetry. It rhymes.
yeah, like The Force Awakens. It rhymes.
Exactly.
Exactly. I see. That's actually a really good comparison.
Yeah, Levi Pinkert
that
with
was
the great take.
Yeah. Wow. That's a good one.
I credit my
Um,
sources.
I mean, I think all of the new characters, a lot of them were kind of like throwaway. But
Shout
I
out
think,
Bob though. Shout out
Hey,
Bob.
shout out Bob.
yeah,
my
Bob,
boy.
Phoenix, Hangman,
Phoenix.
Rooster. I thought they were all even some of the smaller ones like Payback and Coyote. I thought they were all interesting.
Boring names. Hangman. Like, see, here's my problem with Phoenix is it's the most boring name for any person ever. Bob, awesome. Top tier name. And I want to put a little point on it. Iceman has the best helmet. I just want to put it out there. Best design.
Iceman
fun,
or Hangman?
clever. Sorry, Hangman has the best helmet.
See,
All
even
of-
you're getting it mixed up.
God.
I
It's
think
'cause you did this to me, Casey.
Hangman does have
I
the best
know.
helmet.
I'm
thinking
sorry.
about
Once
it
you
right now.
pointed out,
I just wanted to put it out there because I was looking at everyone's helmets because I like graphics and Hangman, he's got the best style.
it was fire. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. I thought I really enjoyed Phoenix's character too.
No, you didn't. What'd you
what?
enjoy about Phoenix's character?
What?
Oh.
Phoenix has no character in this movie.
Wow, you're so mean today. I can't like say
You're-
anything. I'm trying to be nice to people this season, and this is the energy I get.
No.
I
Just
say
explain to me what you
anything.
like about Phoenix's character.
Well, for one, she's like the only non-love interest. It's nice that they have a non-love interest like
Yes.
female character in these movies.
Okay, great.
What?
Which I
She's just
agree.
like a good teammate. Is
Yeah,
there like,
I'm agreeing
Yeah.
with you.
She's just trying to be supportive, you know?
yeah, I
Doesn't have a
like
lot
try
of
and
depth.
I just try and praise a character, and Charlie's like, "Oh yeah, prove it. Name 3 things you like about her." Jeez, chill
Name 3
out.
songs.
Yeah,
I'm
Name
just
3
trying to push
albums.
your take, James, to the next level.
Hondo was good.
I'm the Maverick to your Rooster.
Okay, you
Oh yeah,
are
Hondo.
the Tom to my
Yes.
Jerry is what you are.
Which one was
Um,
Hondo?
The guy who was making him do push-ups.
Yeah.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
seen this
Also,
movie in over
shout
2
out
weeks. So
four black people in this movie. Whoop,
A big
whoop.
move up from the nun in
Big
the first
move.
one.
Big move.
It really is astounding. Yeah, this is a much more diverse cast. I thought it was great. John
Yeah.
Hamm is great in everything. John Hamm was great in this.
Oh yeah,
I really
John
liked
Hamm
him.
killed
John Hamm.
it.
I thought it was weird though, I will say. I thought like they had something interesting with the Kane, I think, the old guy who likes the unmanned drone program. Like I thought that was I was like, "Oh, that's an interesting conflict. Like manned planes versus unmanned drones." And then they just didn't
Yeah.
like
It
that was
didn't
the
go
one
anywhere.
scene and then we never see him again. And I was like, "Why was he in this movie?"
yeah,
I thought that was a
I'll
little
drop
man.
my
Initial
number down to a
conflict.
9.5 for that because that was really useless. Like,
Yeah, and it's such a cool idea too. It's like, oh, Tom Cruise has to face this like, oh, you're fading into obsolescence. Good luck. And then they
Yeah.
were just like, all right, and then we're never gonna talk about that again.
I feel
I
like
just-
that
yeah.
was just to put him in like existential dread mode for the rest of the movie. Like,
yeah, I do like all the times this movie toys with kind of like you
you're a
need to
dying
let
breed,
go.
Maverick.
Yeah,
You
like
need to let go.
it's time to let go. And then I really thought that would have been great, especially because Tom Cruise is very meta, because Tom Cruise is also like 50 something and is still going strong.
Yep.
And is he'll die for the movies. Like he'll
Yeah.
Yeah. Breaking his leg. Oh, geez. Yeah.
But I really like how much they were toying with that. It's a very interesting idea. And then it was like, nah, you're in. Get in the plane. You thought we weren't going to let you in the plane? Get in the plane. Like, I was like, all right. I'm not mad because it was really cool, but it was also like, oh, does this undercut everything else we were building towards? A little bit. I think it does, but it's
Like-
okay because it was cool.
none of the thematic stuff in this movie matters. None of the message, none of the anything. It doesn't matter.
No.
The only thing that matters is the feeling of raw adrenaline that you get when you see
Yeah.
a real human being nearly crash a plane moving at like thousands of miles per hour into a mountain. Like it is
Yeah.
so visceral. And that's the only thing you need to see the movie for. Like, I am so happy they didn't mention the name of the country they were bombing because it doesn't matter.
But it was kind of weird. That was a little suspicious to me.
cares?
I don't know. I was like,
Probably Russia.
the propaganda's working
Yeah.
on Charlie. No,
Propaganda's. He's like,
my-
I don't care who they're bombing.
my father's guess was Iran.
It's snowy. Do they have snow in Iran?
They have mountains over there.
Ah,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, uranium. I don't know, but yeah, it was weird. They didn't name the enemy in the first one.
No, they
either.
didn't.
I don't know how I feel about this. Like
Just fill in the
America, let's go
blanks.
kill our unnamed enemies. Don't worry about who they are. Fight. You know, I was like, who are they? I'd like to know.
Well, too bad.
But when
Then
those
people would get angry and the propaganda wouldn't work as well.
yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
It was part of their design.
It is.
But let me just say, man, when when the flares come out the plane, like the anti-missile flares, I was like screaming. I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah.
I love the way it looks, although like when they shoot out of the bottom of the plane, because I've always seen those and I never knew what they were for. I didn't know they were for like catching
Really?
missiles.
Hmm.
Oh, really? You're not up to date on aeronautical combat tactic? No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Guess I'm more versed in dogfighting than you.
I guess you just played more War Thunder than I have. I don't know what this. All there is
Sorry, I
to
don't
it.
play these kind of nerd games. I fly planes, James. Come on,
All right,
get
all
it
right.
straight.
Oh yeah,
Alright, my
Charlie
bad.
actually trained the entire staff.
He was Tom Cruise's understudy.
He was Tom Cruise.
I
I
just
think-
remember the sound that the plane makes when it's flying through the air. That was me. I was in the back making that
Yeah.
noise.
the Foley artist. He
Yeah.
was everywhere.
Yeah.
He was all over this
He was
production.
enemy fighter number 3.
Yes,
Yep.
unnamed foreign threat number 3. This is an imperialist
Foreign
movie.
threat, and it's just Charlie. He takes the helmet off. It's his man bun. It's like, oh no.
But it is worth talking about though, right? Like there's a very vocal group of people who amidst like, yeah, this movie rules. But there's a very vocal group of people who are like, it rules. It's also a 2-hour commercial for the Navy that you pay to go see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean,
And guess what? I didn't have to do any pull-ups. Already a win. Already
here
a
to
win.
protect and serve.
Automatically a win.
I'm not trying to be that whistleblower guy, but I do think it's interesting. Like, I think it's worth having that conversation of
No,
like,
it totally
is this the sort of thing that we should like celebrate? Yeah, and I'm not trying to like, I'm not trying to diss veterans or whatever. Like, that's not my point. I just feel like I need to say that. I'm not like, it's not like I hate obviously have deep respect for our troops. How did I get here? How did I get to pledging my allegiance
it's
to our
okay.
troops?
It's okay. Just keep going.
But you know what I'm
think that
saying?
I can pull you out in a minute.
This is a conversation I think worth having of it's like being mindful of the kinds of things. Like, I would not be shocked if the Navy put like gallons of money into this movie, right? Like at some
they
level,
sponsored half of it probably.
yeah, at some level, this is literally propaganda. Like actually
at all levels.
on all levels except physical. I am a wolf. This movie is it's like, I don't know. There's something a little like sobering about remembering that. And it's like, oh, this is you are not immune to propaganda. It's a nice reminder of that, because I'm sitting here like squealing like a little boy overseeing the good guy American heroes shoot the random unnamed bad guys. I don't know.
It just killing them.
Yeah, it made me think. Right, like with my dad after we saw, he was like, "Yay, we killed them all! Great message! Like we blew all our enemies up! Yay!" It's like that's a little weird. I don't know. We talked about it, and I think it was The Harder They Fall.
Oh yeah.
That movie made me think a lot about like, I don't know, violence and the way we think about it on screen. But I don't know where to go from there.
No, you really do have an excellent point, James, that you can't just, and I think just overall, it's like you can't walk into movies completely blind. Like you can't just be like, you know what? I mean, you can, because people do. But you know what? I'm just going to watch this war movie and not think about the connotations that it has, or how, like, because even if, let's say, you're a foreign, like, person. Oh.
I don't know what just happened to me. Discord kicked me out.
That?
I don't know. I didn't touch anything. It just did that.
Yeah, just go from the
okay.
start of your take, probably.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, James, that's an excellent point. I feel like even though a lot of people walk into movies blind, like we all want to just go and see movies and enjoy them. Like we all wanted to see Top Gun Maverick and just enjoy it. But at the end of the day, you have to realize, as James was saying, it is literally a giant commercial. Like, and I mean, I'm sure the rest of my co-hosts, like we walk in and then we can walk out and be like, you know what, that was a good movie. Yeah, and we can point out that that was kind of problematic. That's probably not going to age necessarily well. Like we're literally, it came out at the same time that we're having a massive like conflict between Ukraine and Russia, and everyone's like, yes, let's kill them all. Let's da-da-da-da. How do you think like people that could easily be the foreign threat like feel about you're like going around, you're like, oh yeah, Top Gun was amazing, they just killed all these people, yada yada yada. Like you have to sit and watch the movie, and you can enjoy the movie, but also acknowledge, yeah, well, if someone's gonna feel some type of way about that, then they have the right to feel some type of way about it. Like you can't just be blindly optimistic about movies like this, especially war movies. Like Dunkirk, everyone was like, yeah, Dunkirk's kind of horrifying.
I think it's possible.
Also put in a lot of like humanization of the people as well, versus Top Gun is just like, hell yeah, we shooting people, let's go.
You can do tasteful war movies, absolutely. I mean, you can do ones that like, I think if you're gonna do a war movie, it ought to be a critique of war in some way, of saying like, hey, this is not
at some point.
Right. Like I think most of the like great war movies do. Then of course, there's always the debate of like, well, is showing something at all like condoning it? Like you always run the risk that people miss the critique and just take it at face value. Like the great debate around Joker, where it's like, people miss that this is supposed to, you're not supposed to want to be him.
You're not supposed to root for him.
Right. And that's an age-old problem with movies. But Top Gun makes no effort to critique.
I disagree, actually. I think that Top Gun absolutely makes an effort to critique. Like, one of the lines that I remember most from the movie, like, weeks later, is about how in training they're talking about like how you have to look out for your, you know, the person in your back seat, and Tom Cruise says to one of the pilots, "Is that an answer that is acceptable to the family at the funeral?" When they're talking about like the failure that they did at the training course. Like,
okay, that's fair.
But I don't know if
this
that
movie.
counts as,
Well, so this movie is very cognizant of the like danger of everything that is happening, both in the training and in the planes. And while, yes, like, you know, they're shooting down foreign people that we actually don't know the name of, that, you know, have no identity whatsoever, so we don't have to care about them. That part's problematic. But I think it understands that there is a personal cost to war, and there's a personal cost to doing all this training. And that's sort of what the first movie had too, with the death of Goose, and how we constantly come back to that. Like, death of military personnel is a big thing in this movie, and it is a thing that it constantly keeps talking about. So I don't think it completely washes over it or completely glorifies it in any way. And I don't know. I don't feel like it's entirely... It's definitely propaganda for sure, but not to... Like, I don't want to be a fighter pilot after this. They seem like they do some incredibly dangerous things, and also their job is dying. Like...
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
So, like, if people want to become a fighter pilot after this, there's 4 positions open in the U.S. military.
What I do think is interesting is that I was just thinking about like the ways that this movie sort of differs. This movie differs from the first one in that this movie is always oriented around the idea that like you are going into combat. Like Top Gun 1 was basically for the entire runtime was just we're training. Like we're just at boot camp. Like we're just in training camp. And it was like basically like a school competition movie if you think about it. And then in the last 10 minutes, they were like, okay, now go into war and fight some bad guys. Like it wasn't until the very end that they sort of randomly, no bearing on the rest of the plot at all, just have to like fight some baddies. Whereas in this movie, from the beginning, there's an understanding that like you will be fighting. This is an actual like combat. This is not just training for training's sake. So it's an interesting like shift in, I guess, goal or like shift in mode from the first one. Whereas the first one was mostly like they could have cut those like that final like battle at the end and Top Gun and, you know, replaced it with a climax within the training camp. And Top Gun 1 would have been like basically the same movie. This one is like the fighting and the, you know, defeating of enemies is sort of like integral to the film, which I just thought is an interesting like shift from Top Gun 1. It's one of the few things that I feel like is actually different. You know, because there was no like goal or reason for them to be at Top Gun in the first one. It was just like we're here because we do this all the time. Like this is just training. So yeah, I don't have like a
training for what, right? Like,
well, that's the thing is it never said. It was just but it was not
trying
like
to kill.
But it was not like we're training to do this mission to fight these guys and do this thing. It was like we're just sharpening our killing skills, yes, but just sharpening our skills.
Yeah,
it's
to me, the implications there in both that this is meant for death and that these are weapons of war that they are handling.
No,
so,
yeah, I guess I'm just, I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
you see the difference,
it's not as
right?
explicit.
James, you have the point that in the first movie it was more of we're training, and at the end we're gonna see who's the best of the best,
right? And then randomly at the end it was like, now here's a battle.
Oh, guys, we got to go into battle, right? Yeah. But during Maverick, all of the training is, as you said, moving into that final battle at the end. That final
it sort of
conflict.
hangs over the rest of the movie. That's not a criticism. It's just an observation.
Of the courses, like they weren't just running a random course; they were running a specific course for a specific mission.
Yeah, and again, I'm not trying to like. That's not a criticism of Maverick. It's just an observation of like, oh, that's a different like. This movie has a different aim than a different aim.
Oh,
but aim your guns, your airplane guns. That was a good pun, I thought. Um,
Something else that I think is important to note in the new Top Gun movie is every time I talk to somebody about it, the central plot point of like, we need to strike this random country, people are like, oh, that doesn't happen because that's like basically an act of war, right? And it's like, no, that absolutely happens. Shady military operations are like their whole thing.
yeah, this would definitely be like covered up and not in the newspaper if this was real, you know?
So I think it's actually sort of valuable for people to see like, this is what our fighter pilots are probably doing. Besides doing, the boring patrols and the, mundane stuff. If they do anything exciting, it's like SEAL Team 6. It's like they're going on these special missions. Like the US is operating in several countries, probably all over the world, and we should probably be aware of that. And I think that you could come out of the movie going, that was super fun, I really liked that, and also say, hey, in real life, I feel like people are smart enough to see that difference and smart enough to look at the movie and distinguish it from reality.
I hope so. I certainly hope they're smart enough, but I think you always have to prepare, I think, for the worst. And I'm not saying that things shouldn't have ambiguity, but I'm just saying that, like, yeah, there probably are a lot of people who will come out from this and sort of have the take that you did. But like, I know for a fact that there are also a lot of people who come out from it and be like, go military, which is very different. So I don't know. I think these are conversations that are worth having, and they don't have clean or easy answers. But I think the message that everyone can get behind is that, like, it's important to be aware of what's behind the art you're consuming, and like what do they want you to feel when you're seeing this? Like, what do they want you to think? And then make your own opinion. So I think that's just, I just felt like we had to talk about it a little bit, at least, in this episode. You want to know one last difference that I noticed between this and the original?
What?
Sure.
The football scene in this one, way better than the volleyball scene in the original. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it out loud and proud. I thought the football scene in this one was amazing.
James.
That's all.
All right.
The internet is going to kill you.
No, I think I'm right.
Also notice that in the ending credits that Tom Cruise was the only one with his shirt off.
Yes, I did notice that actually.
That is hilarious. That everyone's like different scenes from the movie, and he's like, no, you will put me Vaselined up to the gods. This is the image that I'm leaving them with.
Yeah.
It's giving Greco-Roman.
Tom Cruise is really just like, he's like Joe Hollywood, He's like, he is, if you asked like Dali to like, if you punched in movie star into Dali, it would give you Tom Cruise. He's what would come out. It's just crazy that he's like a real person,
And I'm glad that he is. I am very glad that Tom Cruise exists in Hollywood, because one of the things that I felt after watching Top Gun Maverick was movies like this are not being made anymore.
That's very true.
Yeah.
There are very few movies that felt, I don't know, original is a weird word, but I think it sort of works here, that felt so original as Top Gun Maverick, because everything else that we're seeing is becoming very monotone. Like, we're seeing a bunch of superhero movies produced by the exact same studio, and they all feel the same. We're seeing a bunch of these like generic action movies that really have no interesting ideas or great execution. Tom Cruise is actually pushing the boundaries of the medium. He is actually doing things that have not been done before. And I think movies, if they want to survive in an age where there are so many mediums that are constantly pushing their boundaries, they need to start doing that. They need to start having people like Tom Cruise who are willing to look at a genre and say, what can we do to one-up ourselves every single time? Because that's his mindset. And sure, he is not a great person. Scientology, super boo, super awful. But I think it is easy for us to separate Tom Cruise the person from Tom Cruise the movie boundary pusher man. No, I don't want to use vision. I was going to say innovator, and I was like, I'm not going to call Tom Cruise an innovator. But like, respect the Grussel is what I'm saying. But also don't respect the person if you don't want to.
Yeah, I would have liked a little jump scare warning before his, message at the start of the movie. Hi, I'm Tom Cruise. Thanks for coming to see Top Gun.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like, oh, like I can stand it when there's a line of fiction between me and him. When it's just when I'm there with the Cruise-inator, like face to face, it's scary. So in Top Gun 3, I hope they find Miles Teller and bring him in for Top Gun 3, the Ratatouille live action movie, I should say.
Oh my god!
But I think that's all I've got for Maverick.
Yeah.
Stephen Merchant.
Who's that?
Very skinny man, great for Linguini.
Okay, sure.
Sorry.
No Miles Teller,
No.
but I'm sure he's a great pick.
Yeah, sure.
But you know, I think we're off to a good start with season 6, right? I think this is a very classic. It's a classic movie, right? This feels like a movie, the kind of movie I haven't seen since like these sorts of movies haven't come out in a long time. Like Charlie was saying, this feels like it was pulled out of like the 90s, 2000s in the best way, like pre.
Back when you were alive.
Well, we have this crazy ability to preserve things from the past and watch them in the present. It's really nifty. But you know what I mean? Like this is pre the current state of things. And I really appreciate that. And it made me feel very good. People are like Top Gun saved the movies. Maybe a little, maybe they're right. You know, maybe a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe there's some truth in that. Top Gun, you heard it here first. Top Gun Maverick. Is it propaganda? Yeah. Is Tom Cruise really scary? Yeah.
No.
But it's a damn good movie. And
you're not going to be able to handle Fear Street, James. It's just not going to happen if Tom Cruise is terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of scary. Tom
Just
Cruise
wait
is
till
scary
he
because he's
knows that.
real. Like things that are fictional and scary, I'm fine with. Right? Fictional and scary is fine. Like I said, I can deal with Tom Cruise when he's in fiction, right? Because fictional scary is okay. But real things are what's really scary. But
okay.
Thank you. Little teaser for our next episode there.
Yeah.
Oh.
How about you take them on the highway to the Spiel zone?
Highway to the that was a good one. Highway
Thank
to the
you.
Spiel zone. Good. Well, I mean, you heard her. It's season 6. You know what to do by now, but in case you forgot, thank you for listening. And in case you forgot to share the episode, you should do that too. Give it to a friend who loved or hated Maverick, who loves or hates Tom Cruise, and ask them what they think about our takes. You can drop a comment or leave a like, subscribe if you're on YouTube. You can find us at social media on Twitter at Cinema Socratic and Instagram at Socratic_cinema. And finally, if you want to support us making even more podcasts and help us make season 6 the best of the best, you can become a patron by donating as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/SocraticCinema. It's super easy, super convenient, and you get access to all sorts of fun benefits like seeing episodes early, yada, yada, yada. Ask us questions, yada, yada, yada. It's great. You're going to love it. Go check it out. Patreon.com/SocraticCinema. Our patrons are our sponsor for this episode because they're the only ones we got. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Adios.
Adios.